The clock reads 2:14 a.m., and while the rest of the world seems to be drifting in a silent tide, you are anchored to your mattress, staring at the shadows on the ceiling. This is the arithmetic of anxiety, that frantic mental calculation where you subtract the current time from your alarm to see exactly how much life you'll have to face on 4 hours of rest. If you've been wide awake since midnight, feeling the weight of every decade you've lived pressing into the pillow, I want you to listen closely. This isn't an inevitable side effect of getting older, and it isn't a failure of your willpower. There is a specific, measurable chemical glitch occurring in your system right now, a false dawn of hormones, and tonight we are going to recalibrate that machinery from the ground up. I've spent my career working with people who were told that fragmented sleep is just the price of entry for their 60s. It's a myth. What you're experiencing is a biological misfire that is entirely reversible. We are going to dismantle the 7 invisible barriers that are sabotaging your recovery. Some are active in your bloodstream this very second, while others were locked into place during your morning coffee yesterday. We're going to neutralize all of them, starting with the chemical surge that just pulled you out of your dreams. The primary culprit is a rhythmic surge in your readiness hormone, cortisol. In a perfectly tuned system, cortisol stays at a low, steady hum throughout the night, only beginning its upward climb around 5 or 6 a.m. to gently nudge you into the day. But as we cross the threshold of 55 or 60, especially after years of carrying professional or personal stress, that hormonal tide begins to come in too early. Your internal clock shifts and suddenly you're hitting peak alertness at 3 a.m. instead of 7. Your brain isn't waking up because it's broken. It's waking up because it thinks the morning has arrived ahead of schedule. And here is where the trap snaps shut. The moment you see those glowing red numbers on your nightstand and realize you're awake, your brain enters crisis management mode. It begins problem-solving tomorrow's fatigue before tomorrow even arrives. Neurologically speaking, you cannot be in crisis mode and sleep mode at the same time. They are mutually exclusive states. The harder you try to force yourself back under, the more you signal to your brain that there is a threat to be managed. You aren't failing at rest. You are simply using a manual override on a system that requires a let go. The very first thing you must do to stop this cycle is a digital blackout. The glowing face of your clock is a psychological trigger that initiates a cascade of stress. The moment you register the time, your prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain responsible for logic and math, switches on to calculate your remaining sleep window. That mental heavy lifting is the antithesis of the theta waves required for deep rest. Cover the display. Flip your phone so the screen faces the floor. Create a time-blind environment. By removing the data, you remove the brain's ability to catastrophize. When your mind doesn't know if it's 2 a.m. or 5 a.m., it loses the ability to do the math that keeps it awake. The alarm will signal the end of the night when it's time. Until then, the hour is irrelevant. This single adjustment to the visual environment has been shown to shave 25 minutes off nighttime wakefulness in less than a week, simply because it stops the brain from fueling its own fire. Now, we need to send an immediate biosignal to shut down the stress response. Try this with me right now, exactly where you are. Draw air in through your nose for a slow count of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, release it through your lips in a thin, controlled stream for a count of 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This isn't just a relaxation tip. It is a direct hack of your vagus nerve. The long, slow exhalation sends a message to your heart and brain that the threat has passed. It acts like a physical brake on your cortisol production. 2 minutes of this extended-out breathing is often enough to shift your nervous system from a high-alert sympathetic state into the parasympathetic rest and digest state. Don't reach for a podcast. Don't check your email. Just give your biology the signal it's waiting for. While those first steps address the now, the next 3 are about the before. Consider a recent case I handled, a 68-year-old landscape architect from Oregon. He hadn't slept through the night in nearly a decade, relying on every over-the-counter aid on the shelf. The shift that finally worked for him cost $0 and took only 3 days to manifest. It's based on the Thermal Gatekeeper theory. To enter deep, restorative sleep, your core body temperature must drop by roughly 2 degrees Fahrenheit. If your body cannot dump that heat, you will remain trapped in stage 1 sleep, that frustrating transparent state where you can still hear the house creaking. Most bedrooms are kept far too warm, usually in the 70s. The sweet spot for the human brain is 66 to 68 degrees. To accelerate this, take a hot shower 90 minutes before your head hits the pillow. When you step out into the cooler air, your blood vessels dilate, rapidly shunting heat to the surface of your skin and causing your core temperature to plummet. That sharp drop is a biological green light for your brain to release the hormones of deep sleep. For that architect, a 67-degree room and a pre-sleep soak meant 6 hours of uninterrupted rest for the first time in years. Next, we have to talk about artificial noon. Most modern homes are outfitted with LED bulbs that lean heavily into the blue light spectrum. To your eyes, this light is identical to the sun at midday. When this light hits your retina after 8 p.m., it tells your pineal gland to halt the production of melatonin immediately. Your brain thinks it's still daytime, so it never starts the sleep countdown. The solution is simple. After dinner, kill the overhead lights. Switch to lamps with warm or amber bulbs, specifically those rated at 2700 Kelvin or lower. This creates a photonic sanctuary that allows your natural melatonin levels to rise the way they were designed to. Believe it or not, your ability to sleep tonight was actually determined 14 hours ago. Your master internal clock, the suprachiasmatic nucleus, requires a calibration pulse of bright light every single morning. If you wake up and spend your first hour in a dimly lit kitchen, your clock never sets its timer. You need photonic anchoring. Step outside within 30 minutes of waking up. Even on a gray, overcast day, the light intensity outdoors is exponentially stronger than your brightest indoor lamp. 10 minutes of morning light sets a biological fuse that triggers your melatonin release exactly 14 to 16 hours later. If you can't get outside, sit by a massive window or use a 10,000 lux light box while you have your coffee. This is how you anchor your night during the day. Finally, we have to look at the molecular silence provided by certain nutrients. Over half of adults over 60 are chronically low in magnesium, often because common medications for blood pressure or digestion actually drain the body's reserves. Magnesium is the key that unlocks GABA, the primary inhibitory chemical in your brain that quietens neural noise. Without it, your brain stays loud. The most effective form for sleep is magnesium glycinate, around 300 milligrams taken an hour before bed. Always consult your health professional first, but for many, this is the missing piece of the biochemical puzzle. Pair this with 8 ounces of tart cherry juice, which contains natural precursors to melatonin and enzymes that prevent its breakdown. Lastly, you must decouple your bed from your stress. If you've spent months lying awake, your brain has literally learned that bed equals thinking. This is conditioned arousal. To break it, you must follow one rule. The bed is for sleep and nothing else. If you are awake for more than 20 minutes, you must physically leave the room. Go sit in a chair in the dark or read a boring book under a dim lamp until you feel a heavy sensation in your eyes. Only then do you return. You are retraining your brain to recognize the mattress as a sleep-only zone. This doesn't happen in one night, but within 2 weeks the association will reset. You weren't destined for broken sleep because of a birthday. You simply needed to update the operating system. Start with the Digital Blackout tonight, get your morning light tomorrow, and let your biology do the rest. I want to know which of these you're trying first. Your rest is the foundation of everything you do. Sleep well.